Hello.
Yeah, so good morning, Sob.
Good morning.
You can start.
Hello, sir. Hello, everybody. Except Pawan Kumar. Hello, sir. Namaste, sir. Myself, Pawan Kumar. Hello, namaste, sir. Pawan Kumar here, sir. Hello.
Yes, hello. Yeah.
Hello, namaste, sir. Pawan Kumar here, sir.
हाँ, नमस्ते पवन जी. Already it is too late. So आपका supervisor वहाँ पे है, दिलीप जी?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm here, sir. Good morning,
Yeah,
sir.
so I can be there another 15 minutes. Okay, I have another meeting. So uh, if हाँ, जितना जल्दी हो सके you can start if
Okay, sir.
possible.
Okay, sir. You will reply, sir.
Yes, now I welcome Professor Ranjan Gupta from IIM Raipur and Professor Basu from IIM Bangalore. With your permission, sorry for the inconvenience as there was a net problem. Now Pawan Kumar is going to start his background. Yes, you may start.
Oh, namaste and please accept very warm gratitude on my behalf for your valuable suggestions on my thesis, and accordingly I have taken some action. As Professor Ranjan sir has already communicated that he has to attend another meeting within 10 minutes. So I would like to, with all the permission, I would like to have show the action taken on his observations on my slide. So next slide. Next slide. Next, I will come back. Slide one changing slide. One changing. Yes, here. Sir, here are the kind comments. You have put very valuable remarks on the literature survey and research paper identification. It was your point, sir, that it was a bit disjointed.
Pawan ji, so can you put your mic just at the top because I'm not getting you. Yeah.
Now you can get me, sir.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Ah.
Yeah.
Actually, sir, your suggestion, your observation was literature survey and research gap identification, a bit disjointed. It has been enumerated in the first row. Second one was research methodology adopted. Which question is supporting which hypothesis? It was rather not clear. Your observation was there, and it was rightly observed. And third one, we rework on literature review part so that it gets more well structured. And hypothesis wise questions should be identified. It was the comments. And last one was the quality of knowledge addition. So against each of the observations, for first, second, and third is observation. So it's my humble submission that for literature survey part, yes, I have revisited that, and literature survey and another para, separate para 2.5 has been added, which shows the summary of whole exercise and how the things have proceeded in the literature survey, so that a logical chronology has been given. Why this literature survey has been done from the inception of indirect taxation, now development at various stages, and now it has culminated into GST. So that output has been enumerated in that para, and it may please also be appreciated that accordingly hypothesis has been developed and separate in the table. The questions have been included in indicated against each and every hypothesis, that which question indicates what. In that basis, these things has been addressed, and thesis has been republished on my behalf. And last one, knowledge addition. Again, some exercise was done. Theoretical contribution portion was missing. Your observation. So for a separate theoretical contribution, a separate para 5.8.2 has been added at pages 157, 158, sir. So these were from action taken from my behalf, sir. So it is your observation, sir. Against that, I have submitted my points, sir.
Okay, so Pawanji, others things fine, because I talk about some construct and theoretical framework you have already done. That is good on your part. So just one thing. So can you highlight few of the theoretical contribution that you have done? Means, is there any 3-4 points that you can highlight that you have encrypted in the paragraph 5.8.2? Could you remember and could you tell?
Certainly, sir. Certainly. With your permission, I would like to submit, sir, that in para 5.8.2 theoretical contribution has been added, and that theoretical contribution basically highlights 2-3 points. First one is the when we go for a concept about any, when we go for a research, before research there is a conceptual thing, there is a concept development, and after the concept development, after research, that concept is verified, whether it is true or false or something more is to be added. And in that case, theoretically, 2-3 things have been found out, that ultimately whatever may be the system, whatever may be the techniques adopted, but business operations is the business operations support system. Whatever the variables are defined in that particular sector, that particular factor, will always be the face lifter or face of this ease of doing business exercise wherever it is being carried out. So business operations is day-to-day business. It may be long-term business interest, day-to-day business interest. So this is the very base on theoretical ground which can be adopted in any of such research or any of such policy making while using that business operations as a concept paper. And second one is that business operations, I mean to say business operations is the highest, it has the highest weightage. And next weightage can be given, has to be given according to this thesis design. Next weightage is given by government support system, government policy making, how government responds to industry's need, how government responds to different stakeholders' needs. And if that policy is formulated, how much time government is giving, whether it is ample time, whether a particular in peculiar situations awareness campaigns are there or not. So these type of theoretical things have been given, which are also being seen on the ground. That has been proved in my thesis, sir. Thank you, sir. And yes, last one, the information technology always there. We have seen today itself that how much weightage information technology carries, because this presentation has already started half an hour late due to this information technology support system. So, and in bigger terms, it is very well, very much well established in GST. Because, sir, I must, earlier I was posted in the GST department, and with that experience, I can say, sir, that if this same study would have been completed 3-4 years back, then business support system or government support system wouldn't have had the highest points. Yeah, its IT support system would have been the highest point, because there are lot many issues were being coming on our side, sir. That lot more complaints. Like this portal is not working, that link is not working. How can we go forward? So anyway, fortunately, time has elapsed, sufficient time has elapsed, and now what can we say? Now the things have been stabilized, and now it is showing that yes, information technology is still important, but it comes to a third place. This is my the contribution in my literature, sir. Thank you, sir.
So I have just one final question. You have
Sir.
actually done on pharmaceutical industry, and you have put some points for them. Now, what is your prediction? For example, whenever there is a thesis or there is a paper, things like that, there is a future extension of work. Fine. So what is in your opinion that what are the other industries that actually can be the scope of your study, or you have done any robustness analysis post your thesis, things like that, on any other industry?
Very right point you have raised, sir. In that case, I must submit here that in case of choice of pharmaceutical sector was natural, because pharmaceutical sector is more or less a stabilized sector. It is not volatile right at that moment. But the other sectors like construction sector, it is very volatile. Things are yet to be settled. Policies are yet to be at the maturity level. However, if we look at the pharmaceutical sector, then two or three things have been done by the government in these recent years. One is research and development policies in healthcare sector. Second one is medical device policies. So this study, this study can be extended to study those the impact of those policies which have been declared right now, and within 1 or 2 years, its effects will be seen in the society, in the industry. So right now, in the pharmaceutical sector, it can be extended. In my opinion, it can be extended to other healthcare sectors, medical device sectors. And one more thing, sir, that this is a general observation. What my thesis says, it is about general observation that each and every is replying to same question, same answer, every strata of the sample. But yes, it is also a fact, sir, that there may be separate issues for different strata of industry, different strata of market players, which is not seen here, because a common generalized type of question has been developed. But if some scholar go for that, yes, particularly I have to look into the MSME sector only. Particularly, I have to look into the issues of medium level sector only, for only those people who are exporting the drugs. So this type of observations and this type of research can be taken out from this type. This of the thesis can show them the path to proceed in the same, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, Pawanji. That's all on my part. So
thank you, sir. Thanks for part.
Yeah. So Romaji, if you are there, whether I have to do any other needful?
Yes, sir. I'll send you some formats. You have to fill up and give them up evaluation marks.
I am not getting you. So acceptance by mail will be fine? Because I am not getting you, what you have said.
Yes, sir. Am I audible now?
Yeah, yes. So what other needful I have to do? Yeah. Means I have to put a mail of okay, approve, things like that, anything like that?
Actually, sir,
Yes, sir. On your part. You are clearing his viva.
Not getting you. So we can, yeah, carry on. Not getting you.
Sir, I think instability swing.
Actually, sir, thank you so much for your valuable suggestion, sir. Definitely, we will work in future accordingly, sir. And ma'am want to say that she will send some document. You have to fill that document and you have to revert back, sir. She want to tell these things.
Okay, fine. That I will be doing. So it should be in physical form or online. After filling up, I can send through mail.
Yes, sir.
Ah. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And now you are he is done with your part. So you approve for his PhD degree.
Yeah, fine for me. I approve that.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All the best, Dilip ji. All the best, Pawan,
Thank
for
you,
your
sir. Thank
future
you. Thank you,
work.
sir.
Fine. So I'm leaving. Sorry, because I have another meeting to attend. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Observation of now. Sorry, sir, actually, you have to leave, that's why.
Sir, you can mail also. Yes, sir.
So, sir, now, as you have already seen that first, I have included the action taken report in my first few slides, and Ranjan sir already has been addressed. So I come to valuable points raised by you, sir. The first point, as you rightly said, that uniqueness of pharmaceutical industry should be highlighted, as well as how tax regime is going to impact it. And appropriate changes have been done in second para 1.6. It has been indicated that why pharmaceutical industry is so unique, and further what change in what implication of GST is going to provide in pharmaceutical industry in terms of briefly I may say that IGST is introduced, that warehouses, big companies, they put here warehouses in another state just by putting IGST, not toll etc. So that has made them transit easy rather than when it was in previous regime other than GST. Second one is that you have indicated, sir, you have pointed out that whether this study relates to implementation phase. Yes, this study relates completely to implementation phase because 6 years has already elapsed, and now that things have stabilized, and those, if I can say that clear impact of on the ground level are being observable at this moment, and so implementation phase has been there, and it has been indicated accordingly in my thesis as page 25, para 1.7. Practical grounds, what you have asked, sir, you wanted to do more clarity on practical grounds. So I have replaced the word with reference to real life experiences of any commercial sector. Real life, practical grounds mean real life experience. What is going on the ground? What is going as a real life experience in the industry? Madam, next slide. And sir, here I will feel sorry because you pointed out that publicly available indices are there, but unfortunately I couldn't find. I tried my level best, but at this juncture I was not able to find whatever I could find. Yes, I found something, but whatever I could found, only they were addressing some points raised. World Bank has issued some point, and somebody is addressing this point, somebody is addressing that point. But clearly, another in this index is not found. Only one more index was there. That is already in my that is from Economic Intelligence Unit. That is already in my thesis. And yes, this exercise will go on, sir. Certainly, this exercise will go on because research is never complete. I think no research is never complete. So this exercise will go, and I will search for that. So right now, some of those findings I have indicated, but everybody were incidentally talking about the indicators what were explained by World Bank. And your guidance is also solicited in that, sir. And now you have raised some issues about hypothesis, that hypotheses are looking too much whom many numbers, 25 hypotheses. But sir, I would like to humbly submit in my humble position that hypothesis has been kept at bare minimum. These 25 hypotheses may be broken up in like that. That three factors have been analyzed, independent factors have been identified, and how they are impacting the ease of doing business, that is dependent factor. So these three hypotheses are there. Another three hypotheses relates to the organizational factor. When we talk about individual factor, individual responses, then we talk about the demographic variables. But here, organization is responding, not the individual. Company is responding. That's why it is named as organization variables. That is their market profile, in which market they are operating. That is product profile, what type of product they are involved in, medical device, pharmaceutical formulations, API, etc. And another one is how, what is their size? They are big companies, multinational companies, they are small companies, medium type companies, PSUs. So these type of organizational variables are there. So three of the hypotheses are devoted to those organizational variables. So 3 + 3 has been 6, and now 19 variables. 19 variables relate to 22 questions, and those 22 questions have been kept at bare minimum, and wherever it has been felt that yes, two or more questions indicate about almost similar issue. That is one I can cite here. That is what is that called? E-way bill. Two questions were pointing towards e-way bill. Two questions were pointing about input tax credit, however addressing separate issue. So both have been clubbed together, and 22 question has been reduced to 19 variables, and thus 3 + 3, 6 + 19, that is 25 variables. These have been formulated here. Next slide now. About the statistical testing technique, you have rightly said that techniques needs to be explained. Just merely saying in one line that different statistical techniques will be used, it is not enough. And it has been accepted, and appropriate inclusion has been done in the relevant para, that is 3.6, that which statistical technique will be used. Actually, that is already used in chapter 4, and that has been put there, that this statistical technique I have used for my analysis. And Likert skill justification is required, sir. Here it is to submit that, sir, in literature survey already there was a tax compliance study, and that used the Likert scale, but that is not enough. In Likert scale, in my personal opinion also, sir, that it is easy to understand, easy to respond, and it in my opinion, in various others opinion, that it offers wide versatility and understandability. It also helps in sentiment analysis. So I have used Likert scale, sir. That is my humble submission. And strata, there was yes, it was rightly pointed out, and I expected that only 60 samples from out of 3,000 companies. So it looks very low, and how stratified random sampling is there, sir? Here I have to submit 2-3 things. First one is that you see, it is basically a qualitative data. It is not quantitative data from any other statistical standard. Why I am saying it is a qualitative data? There are 4. I have identified 4 strata, I think. Yes, 4 strata. First one is that there is an organization that is called PharmaTrack. PharmaTrack organization publishes data of Indian pharmaceutical performance every month-wise, and that data is used by central government of India also for their other statistical purposes. And in that publication, they have indicated there are 40 companies who have total market share at least 81.6% in September. Latest by it is September data. September 81.6% in moving average turnover, and around the same 1 or 2% difference in the particular month. In that case, out of those 40 companies, I was able to get the responses from 21 companies, and they had covered around 58.95% of the market share. That is strata 1, bigger company. Second strata is also bigger company, but they are not coming through this, what is that called, IPM, Indian Pharmaceutical Performance, because IPM is basically related to consumer medicines. What we are able to get in, the over-the-counter medicine in the shops. These companies are dealing with those products which are basically B2B, business to business, such as I can cite an example of IOXL. IOXL is a life-saving medicine. It is used in hospital only. It cannot be sold here and there. It is hospital only. So in that case, companies are producing. Yes, they are very much a big player, but they are separately selling it directly to hospitals. In that case, that is not being shown in pharmaceutical performance because it relates to consumer goods. In that case, yes, but that is also a pharmaceutical product. We cannot deny that. Similarly, Wipro G Healthcare is producing ventilators. They are producing X-ray machines, high-end medical devices. That cannot be sold everywhere in the market. That is shown in only in the hospital. So such type of products are also there. So these type of strata is also there. There was no data available independently which can be verified that this much of market share they have. But anyway, I identified and I got response from 10 such companies. They have responded about their productions, responded to my questionnaire, and I can conveniently assume that this is the second strata. Now it is not being shown in any literature, any record that how much market share they are, but they are big players, well-known players. And third strata, of course, come medium-sized companies. Medium-sized companies, in terms of market share, we cannot say many things, but it can be said that they have given the stability to the Indian market. They have shown stability to the Indian pharmaceutical sector, and they are playing much of the vital role in producing. At ground level, no, at a consumer level things. So, and sir, 3 of these samples include from PSU, public sector units, central public sector units. But due to this investment process and everything else, now these CPSUs have been limited to medium-sized companies. They are not big players. But anyway, 3 of them medium-sized companies are PSUs also. And last strata is, of course, small companies. These small companies generally are clustered at here and there in some places where some SEZ type facilities are given, pharma park like the facilities are given. These small companies are there. But anyway, this data can be qualitative because though smaller and medium companies are not very much observable in this data, but most of them directly, indirectly involved in as vendors or contract manufacturer for the bigger players like Pfizer or Abbott, etc. They are using their skill, they are using their resources to feed those companies. So ultimately, directly, indirectly, they are involved in this sample. Now they may not be observable in the direct response. So due to these 60 samples, I can confidently say even at this standard is around 2%, and I can confidently say that they can represent the pharmaceutical. They are representing the pharmaceutical industry, Indian pharmaceutical sector, in quite a comprehensive manner. And your observation about the pilot study. I must submit, sir, that there was no any previous such a study was available at that time, and no validated questionnaire was there. In that case, I had very little choice and went on to contact such a low-level employee, executive level employees who were dealing with GST on behalf of their company, busy in dealing return filing and GST returns, etc. In that case, I contacted them, and 31 such persons working in different companies like Amazon, Cipla, etc. Amazon, Wipro, they responded with their response. And at that time, sir, I would like to submit that there were 54 questions, not more many questions. But 54 questions cannot go like that. We cannot expect the corporate office that they will respond to 54 questions. They have very little time. At that time, we have to expect maximum of the information with the minimum of the question. That is the thing. And pilot study was very useful in identifying those questions. Repetitions were avoided. This has been done quite successfully, and pilot study was done. So now your another valuable comments are. You rightly pointed out that pre-GST regime should have some impact on this study. And yes, sir, I would like to submit that 5 of the questions I have indicated here, they are basically showing the comparative status of pre-GST to post-GST regime. Here the multiplicity of taxes has been reduced due to the service GST system. It itself shows that it is compared to previous GST regime. Overall cost of compliance has changed. This is also has a comparison mode. Pricing decision has been easier. It is also that case, and supply chain efficiency has increased. Where it has got increased, it means that it has some comparison with the pre-GST regime. And now refund processes have been easier in goods and services. So these 5 questions are already there, and which are indicating thus yes, these have some comparison from the previous GST regime. And now another in chapter 4, sir rightly pointed out, sir, that various methods are used for testing. Why only this method? I should explain that. Why should and why path analysis is there? Why not other hypothesis, standard hypothesis testing approaches here? So for that purpose, sir, in the para 3.6, I have already mentioned the revisions. Here I would like to have some brief submissions that yes, the various methods are available. For that, it has been detailed that which methods are available, and path analysis for hypothesis, because here one thing was there, sir, that interrelation of the variables, interrelation of the factors was also to be shown, that which factor has how much weightage, which factor should be weighted at what level, so that their impact on dependent factor, that is ease of doing business, it may be shown. So according to me, the path hypothesis, sequential equation model, confirmatory factor analysis and path analysis was the best thing what I could do that at that time, and I adopted that technique, sir. And that successfully worked also, sir. Madam, next slide, please. Now, sir, you have already put your observation that ANOVA table may sum of squared should be there, residual sum of squared should be there, and accordingly, I would like to submit, sir, that all those ANOVA tables have been updated. Those things have been included in the table, and thesis has been updated accordingly. And the statement factors, you have said that a statement at the end of chapter that all factors identified are fully explained by their variables. It needs further explanation. Yes, sir, it certainly needs further explanation, and I have done it accordingly. And that explanation says that yes, factors have been identified. The variables have been grouped under that. Various variables grouped under one factor, and they are indicating some particular factor. But now, it is also a moot point, sir. While contacting some researchers, I was able to get that yes, it has due to some statistical or due to some quirk, they may have grouped together. But whether they are particularly defining that factor or not, this is the thing. As ANOVA tables, all and through ANOVA table, I was able to establish, sir, that yes, these variables have been grouped together. Not only grouped together, these variables are defining that factor in a particular mode and no other else. So that conveniently one can verify that yes, this questionnaire is for particular question defines that particular factor. So that's why another table was used there, and they are fully explained. Implication of such findings, yes, implication portion, that implication should be highlighted better. That has been done. And some more points have been included, updated, and accordingly some changes have also been done. Limitations part should also be updated. Yes, limitations part have been given. Limitations parts have been given. And sir, for overall cases, you said that addressing the grammatical errors. Yes, you are rightly said, sir. While I revisited my thesis, I found a lot of mistakes, certainly a lot of mistakes. and accordingly I have corrected them at the level best, and that has been addressed, sir. So all paras has been revisited. So and now it is the second expert, it has already been addressed. So if you allow, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. So and now. Certainly, sir, thank you. So first of all, I address the observations. Now, now this is the very brief of about my thesis. So first part introduction. Sir, research motivation, there are these days much talked about that India should make $1 trillion, $5 trillion economy, and this one, that one, everybody is talking about ease of living, attracting the investments, ease of doing business, and government is very much keen on that. In that case, they have put a nodal department that is called DPIIT under Ministry of Commerce. They are combining all the efforts of all departments. They are providing a platform that under each ministry in their administrative capability, they should look for the activities under their jurisdiction, how it can be eased so that investment can be attracted. Investment cannot be attracted only with some reforms, and some reforms are still there, still to be done. In that case, it cannot be done, sir. Madam, slide. It cannot be done, sir. So it was the motivation, natural motivation, that ease of doing business may be the theory, and maybe the topic of matter. And ease of where it comes from, but how it should be started, why it should be started, from where the seed of this research is there. World Bank report, World Bank used to publish the ease of doing business rankings, and in 2020 the best ranking for India was or 63 out of 179 countries, which was constantly improving from 2017, 2018, we can see 77, it was 2018. Another one is that economic intelligence, what I was talking in the action taken, that only one more I could find, that is economic intelligence unit. Those were they are also publishing quarterly basis their way of doing business data, and they are showing around 91 indicators. So in April 23, it also shows that India has inching ahead continuously in the ease of doing business data. Madam, next slide. So we can see, sir, World Bank has highlighted these 10 points, these 10 factors. So from inception of business to closure of business, each and every point is covered: licensing, labor, property ratio, etc., etc. So here I have made it bold. Taxation Act comes at 7th place. Taxation is one of the factors that impacts ease of doing business according to World Bank. But now when we consider about taxation, and now GST has been implemented, whole taxation structure has been updated, it has been changed a bit to some extent. So it is natural how GST is going to impact, as taxation impacts ease of doing business, how GST is going to impact ease of doing business. That was the choice of my ease of doing business rankings, ease of doing business study. Madam, next slide. It is simple, nothing, just an academic or historical exercise that it was amended, and central level some taxes were clubbed, state level taxes clubbed. Next slide. And why about pharmaceutical sector? As I have already earlier submitted, sir, it is a stabilized sector now, pharmaceutical sector, and in terms of production and other exports, etc., it is basically called sunrise sector. It is third in value, India positions third in volume terms, and 14th in value terms. However, this situation is not very clear. Things should be reversed, that high value products should also be made here. And this is just for academic, that 25 billion they have exported, 25%, 20% global generic drugs. How much percent contributes 2% to India's GDP, pharmaceutical sector, 8% of mercantile exports. So basically in this slide, this feature already shows that how Indian pharmaceutical sector is important, and how studying ease of doing business in this sector is important. Now, what is the impact of GST on ease of doing business in the pharma sector? So it has already been indicated that after almost 6.5 years have elapsed, and now it is to see on the ground that how policy is going to impact, or how policy has impacted the basic things in the ground level. Madam, next slide. Now, literature review part is here, summary and research gap. Madam, next slide. So here I would like to submit, sir, 136 journal articles, 5 reports, and website. Though 2 websites have been, sorry, 2 websites have been referred, and this has certainly helped me to identify the research gap. Conceptual framework was developed, hypothesis formulation and comparison with results. So derived because when we are getting interviewed some pharmaceutical companies and how we derive the results from statistical analysis, we compare both how it is going on. So comparison was done there with primary data obtained through survey. Madam, next. And or out of those research literatures, here I have tabulated some important literatures on how their linkage with the study. Where I have highlighted linkage with the study that some ease of doing business, impact of taxation, ease of doing business, import of transit, important transit matters. ITC in input tax credit is a vital part. Some other general article shows it. Refund process. Some talks about refund process. Next slide, ma'am. How important is government role? How questionnaire should be designed? It is also there. And how pilot study should be carried out. As I have said earlier, sir, that was quite helpful through this article, sir. Next, ma'am. So similarly, awareness level, what is the importance of awareness level in making any policy successful, and how policy should be, how policy support should be from government side, how it should be proceeded, and establishment of importance of reduction in how multiplicity of taxes and reduction has helped in impacting the whole taxation system. This has been dealt in this journal article. So these are some of the journal articles which have been enumerated here. So, Madam, next slide. So, this is the summary, sir, as I earlier submitted with the journal, that government role is shown here. Greater ease of doing business, awareness level, business friendly taxation system, way of implementation of e-way bill mechanism, input tax rate, etc. That has been summarized. What was we have done in literature survey, that will be summarized here. Next, now. So research gap. Now those have been, sir. I would like to submit, sir, that after going through so much papers and so much thesis and so much research work, it was found that yes, some separate study on ease of doing business is available. Some separate study is also available on GST. But combining GST, impact of GST on ease of doing business with reference to certain sector, it was not available. And it gave me the research gap which can be attempted here, and it gave me the motivation to take on that research gap and have my paper, have my study on that, sir. Madam. So concept after so much exercise, there was proposed conceptual framework, government support system is that ease of doing information technology support system and business operations system. Of course, they have been shortlisted BOSS, GSS, and ITSS on POTP. Now, research methodology. So much have been, Madam, next. Much have been said about how hypothesis has been developed. So it is the pilot result of pilot study, 31 implied, number of questions were 54. Madam, next. And now research questions. Because any research, any thinking process start with some questions. Some questions arise, and then only a person can proceed and that area to find the answers of the research questions. So, natural, what are the factors impacting the ease of doing? What is the factor most important impacting in the degree of impact? What is the related to those factors? Third one, yes, that factor has been identified, variable identified, but how that variable defines that factor, it is also a question. and organization variables, how much they are effective in deciding about the ease of doing business. That is the thing. So research objective runs with research questions only. We can see that factor again. This type of research objective going on to find those answers. Madam. And here is the summary of null hypothesis, sir. Already I have submitted, sir, 3 for factors analysis that has been rejected. 3 of for objective number 4, that is organization variables. There are 3 numbers of null hypothesis were there, and that has been accepted. It means it shows that yes, organization variables have not any significant impact on each of the business. So organization variables like marketplace, their market operations, their sizes, or as well as their they call product profile, which product profile they are busy in, but it is not that significant. Their impact is not that significant on each of doing business. But third one, objective number 3, you have already pointed out, sir, that factors identified whether they define the impact, they define those factors, those variables define those factors or not. So that has been, in that case, 19 hypotheses were designed and all were rejected. It means that yes, whatever the variables have been grouped to define a certain factor, those variables particularly define that factor in quite comprehensive way, quite significant manner. So this is the summary, sir, madam. Next. So now hypothesis, we come to hypothesis. Objective number 2, effective factors. What more? First exercise, first define the factors. When factors have been decided with some statistical technique, factor analysis or factor analysis, then we define the business. First one is business operation support system that does not influence. IT support system does not influence. Government support system does not influence. These are the null hypotheses, madam. Next. So for the again another objective 3, there are a lot many more hypotheses for it. This one is the first factor. For business operation system, there are 4 variables: multiplicity of taxes, tax credit availment, ease of refunds, and e-waybill mechanism. Now again, it comes information technology support system. Here, government goods and service tax network, whether it is working, whether its impact is there. Mismatch of data, issue of mismatch of data is there. Regular improvement of IT system, whether it has any impact or not. Third one is the ease of. Fourth one is the information under updating of information, and because you know there are several portals. Some portal we can update, but another portal is not referring that. I have updated my Aadhaar in this portal, but that portal is not automatically taking up that matter. In that case, there is a lot of confusion, and again, that interconnectivity is denied, so system cannot work. That has been issued, that has been addressed here. And now seamless, yes, that is already shown in 5th point. Seamless linkage of different related portals. Madam. Now it comes to government support system. Yes, as the name suggests, government support system. Government is basically concerned with the policy making. They are basically policy making and addressing the basic issues raised by the industry, raised by the stakeholders, and making decisions. So, but how that system works? Here it has been addressed that yes, government asks some information from the stakeholders, industry. Suppose every time I am asking some format, in some format, under format, this format, that format. In that case, what happens? There are a lot of forms, and lot of forms create a lot of confusion. Really, I have given this information, but where that information is? Again, new form has come to. That should not be there. So that format of information, format should be composite, format should be lucid, and most of the information or all of the information come to government for their own purpose. So first hypothesis about format of information. Second is the awareness activities. Government have taken some certain awareness activities also for the GST. Whether that is working or not, whether that is impactful or not, that is the thing needs to be seen. Response to sector needs, whether how the government responds to sector, any sector needs. Suppose some issue arises, and the different stakeholders approach to respective ministries of the government to address those issues. So how the government responds, whether they respond with a adequate, whether response is adequate, whether response is timely, these things are to be seen. And whether that response impacting the government support system or not. And last one is the time given to, yes, any policy is implemented. Yes, government can decide the policy, but sufficient time should also be given to work so that policy works. Otherwise, today one policy and very next day or after few days another policy. So it creates lots of confusion and becomes unworkable. It cannot be workable, sir. Next one. And now the hypothesis, yes, those variables which have been grouped under dependent variable, that dependent factor that is ease of doing business, transition, GST transition regime, compliance cost, of course, it is also under ease of doing business, trend manpower availability is there, pricing decision, ease in pricing decision, supply chain efficiency and investment prospects. These 6 variables are have been clubbed under ease of doing business factor, Madam Nair. And now of course, already I have submitted, sir, about organization variables, size of the company, product profile of the company, what product they are in, and market profile of the company, whether they are exporting, importing, or doing both. This type of things, sir. So now we go to research design, data sampling technique, Madam Nair. Of course, research design, analytical research, descriptive research, null hypothesis form. This has already been explained, sir. And better discussions, opinions with has been interaction has been done with the respondents. Out of 60 respondents, 14 respondents were personally interviewed, and they had their own opinion about the GST system. Next one. So questionnaire was developed. I already said, sir, it is in Likert scale. Annual turnover, first part is organization variable like annual turnover, domestic sale, etc. And second part is 5-point Likert scale. There are 22 questions were designed with 5 scale. Strongly disagree, either agree, don't disagree, agree, and strongly agree. Sampling design, as you have already pointed out, sir, earlier, out of 3,000, only 60. So that was only from this sampling design. So here I submit that major segments include generic drugs, over-the-counter medicines, APIs, and contract research and manufacturing, biosimilars and biologics. And in the very second para, it has been shown, sir, for a strata of 40 companies. I have already explained it, sir. 40 companies are from Indian pharmaceutical sector performance design, and 81.6% they are covered. So I have already explained that, sir. Next. Now, sampling technique, as natural as that, sir, it is not possible to collect data from all 3,000 companies, and they are spread across India. And 3,000 companies have 10,500 manufacturing units. So, in that case, a representative sample data were collected, and here different strata have been defined here, sir. Large company whose market data captured by pharma, right? Other well-known large company, but their market data not being captured by pharma track, but have mostly B2B transactions. Third one is medium-sized companies, including 3 PSUs, and last one is small-sized companies. Sample size here, qualitative sample has been explained, sir. The already number of respondents from the strata 1, 21 companies, with 58.95% of share. Second strata company, these companies have B2B transaction. Third one is medium size 16 companies, including 3 PSUs and 13 small size companies. So it is my submission, sir, that we may conveniently assume that all respondents together cover more than 60%. It is very conservative estimate, sir. It may go 70% also, but yes, I accept here more than 60% is there. Now, data analysis interpretation part we come. So a different statistical tool, as you suggested earlier, sir, that this should be mentioned, and I have already mentioned. I improved that para and included these things: frequency, discrete correlation, SEM, confirmatory factor analysis have been done to analyze the data. and whatever it is. Next. For objective one, next one. For objective one. So the Cronbach alpha reliability is shown here, sir. Next one. And KMO Bartlett test is also there. Perhaps we know some, but it's 0.720. It is quite convenient. Next one. So factor analysis, and these are the common things which are derived from various data. It should be greater than 4.4 and major adequacy KMO. So these are only conforming standards that yes, it falls within that standard, that this data is correct. Madam, next. So here total variance explained through factor analysis you have done. So we can see, sir, that 76, more than 76% of the population size are defined by four, whose eigenvalue are more than 1. So 4 factors, through this exercise, 4 factors were identified. Madam, next slide. Here, all of the questions, rotated component matrix has been defined. And here we can see the highest one everywhere has been bolted that. And through that, in the next slide, we can see the next slide. Next slide. Here 4. Sorry, ma'am. First, just previous one. Here 4 factors have been identified. Government support system. They have renamed as government support system, business operation support system, IT support system, and ease of doing business. And those 22 questions have been classified and clubbed according to the rotated component matrix, rotated component data in those 4 classes. Madam, next. Now there is correlation analysis. Here we can see the table, sir. Each and every factor is correlated with each and every factor to the extent degree. Next. So here has been explanation, sir. Ease of doing business is with BOSS is 4.2.420. Similarly, Pearson's correlation coverage ease of doing business with government support system is 0.376. And similarly with ITSS is 0.372. And accordingly, not only with ease of doing business, independent factors are also there, and they are correlated with each other of them. That is 3.315 government support system, and GSS and ITSS at 0.331, whereas the BOSS with ITSS is around 0.399. Next one. Next slide. So objective 2. Now here I have adopted already submitted, sir. That path analysis was there. Was used there. Path analysis used there for testing these 3 hypotheses: business support, operation support system, IT system, and government support system. Next slide. So here is the table, sir. Can you see? It can be seen. This is a structural equation modeling, and here is the measurement model, which can be seen on the next slide. This is the measurement model, sir. Each and every relative. Next slide. So next slide. So here is the validity table, sir. It is satisfying all the standards. And so ABE values are more than 50.5, whereas MSB greater than MSB in each factor, and further CR is also greater than 7 and greater than EB in each and every case. So there are no validity concern. Next one. So now we come to structural model. Here again, this one path analysis was done. Next one. And here is the path model. So here we can see the maximum weightage is given to BOSS, the business operation support system. It comes around 0.7. Second rank comes to GSS, government support system. It is around 0.61. And information technology support system, there is 0.38 for each of the business. So here is the standard error and path estimates are there, sir. So here you can be conveniently seen that business operation system has the highest estimate relations with each of the business. ITS has the lowest, and GSS government support system the in between, and all of them are more than 1.196. So here 0.536 is a critical region, and critical value is 5.767. It is more than 1.96. So and p value of 0. So therefore, it is stated hypothesis has been accepted that within that. So it does not, business support does not, it says, no, it should be rejected. Anyway. Stated hypothesis accepted. It does not influence the age of business, but it madam name. So again, IT information system is there. IT information system is also there. And next madam, similarly. Third one is also not accepted. Everywhere it is not accepted. So because it is higher than P value is less than that, and region is above the critical value region is above 1.96, it is also not accepted. So we can say that these three factors significantly impact the ease of doing business. It has been derived from this one. Next one. Next one. So now objective 3, here I have already stated, sir, that how the different variables are defining those factors. So factor wise, we have tested each and ANOVA through ANOVA, every factor, and in each case we can see that hypothesis, null hypothesis rejected. So it can be confidently assumed that they are really defining, really impacting that factor. Next one. Again, here the same result for the other factor, GSS. Next one, ma'am. And now it comes ease of doing business. Here it is also the same story. The variables which have been clubbed together to define ease of doing business really define the ease of doing business. Next one. Here is the there is just the summary of all those ANOVA. And next. Now it comes objective number 4. Here is the interesting story, sir. Here is the interesting story. We can see that product line, 3 organization variables are identified: size of the company, product line, and the market profile. So these have been put against ANOVA exercise, and madam next. And here we can see, sir, the significance level is higher. Within 50, within P value, all of these null hypotheses is accepted here. Because all of these null hypotheses are accepted. Madam, next slide. Next slide. All of API, this is the product line. Next one. And this is the market profile, sir. Domestic export, both domestic export. Next one. So here it is that, sir. It may be seen that P value in all cases of all factors, demographic variables are greater than 0.05. So all null hypotheses are accepted. And interestingly, through this study, it comes out that organization profile is not going to impact ease of doing business for this study, sir. Whether the company may be small, may be big, but they are getting the same degree of attention. Madam. So now results part from these results have been already also been discussed earlier, sir. That present study, whatever we got the results, the business operation system is the highest carrying the weightage. Next one is government support system. These are also coming on expected lines, because when the industry reference is going on, then these are basically they are, sir, we are day-to-day business is the most important factor for us. And as I have submitted earlier, that it would have been completed 4 or 5 years, 4 years before. Certainly it would have been ITSS, information technology support system, but now things are matured and now it is business operation support system is there. It is the higher. Now conclusion, major recommendations are there that business operation support system is the highest. That's why that should be that is to be observed more, that is to be impacted more, and there should be more attention on the business operation system support system. Yes, but it doesn't mean that IT support system should be forgotten, because we have seen the impact on this presentation, IT support system. And there is government support system. Yes, government has to be regularly sensitive to the demands of the industry and customers as well. And all of these factors combined together to make a major conclusion about this study. Next one. So you have previously pointed out, sir, that what are the theoretical contribution, theoretical implication of the thing. So here it has been pointed out. The present theoretical implication is that, sir, that first of and foremost is that it combines all the 3 factors. Ease of doing business, GST, and referencing to some special sector, some particular sector. These have been combined together and theoretical, a theory, a different literature has been developed. And that literature may be used for some conceptual development, either in policy making exercise of government or some future researchers who can go further and develop their own ideas about some more impact. And third one is, it's mainly business operations, it has already been pointed out, and practical implications. Very well, sir. These days, the ease of doing business is much coined word, especially in the government. Everybody is talking about the ease of doing business, decriminalization of procedures, decriminalization of rules, regulations. So, present work may add positive value to these efforts. And of course, here I am as a research scholar only. But ultimately, as a government servant, I also feel that such exercises should be taken up in other sectors as well. And some more persons should be encouraged. Now they may be proceed for PhD or not, but such exercises will be done. Madam, next. Now, yes, limitations. Yes, very rightly pointed out said earlier. The sample size is small. However, it may be qualitative, but sample size is small. And some new results, somehow some other result may also be coming when somebody is particularly looking into some specific issue faced by some particular strata of the companies, some particular strata of the stakeholder. So sample responses, lack of sample responses may have a limitation. Though chances are low, but yes, this may be there, sir. This is the limitation. And the question, it is quite generic in nature. It is not specifying some any specific issues to a specific strata. It is quite general. It is applicable to all strata. So if we have more refined questionnaire, if we have more micro management of the questionnaire, yes, that may highlight some more limitations about this study. Madam, next please. Now, scope of the future work, as already have in the previous experts I have mentioned that there are very much scope that R&D policy, medical device policy, healthcare sector may be included, and even the volatile sector like construction sector, technology sector, real estate sector, or organizations operating in social sector can also be extended with some exercise, same exercise, and some aspect like including more subject of organization variables. More organization variables may also be considered, like personnel. Here I have considered only size, market profile, and what is that called? A product profile. But some more organization variables may also be developed by some researchers, and the future work may be carried out. This is the next slide. And so these are the publications. Only three publications from my side, sir. One was on goods and services tax, direct approach to indirect taxation. Ease of doing business, approaching the context was another one. And last one is the Indian pharmaceutical sector, accepting the challenges for more challenges to accept. Only these publications from my side, sir. Next one. And finally, sir, acknowledgement. Thanks a lot. So this is all from my side, sir.
Congratulations. I don't know, I mean, I think the questions are addressed, and I think that's fair. But I still have some
Sir.
I have some basic observations, and I'll still go back to my first observation, which is 25 hypotheses is way too much.
Sir.
Whatever you say, and you say you can't reduce it or do whatever, I would always argue that this is way too much. I'll tell you why the problem.
Sir.
I don't know what I'm looking at.
Sir.
So many that I don't know what is the result conveying, which is the key hypothesis, what is happening. There is really, it is impossible to read.
Sure.
And it's impossible to figure out the impact of it. I'm not questioning the results of it.
Sure.
Your results are correct, they're all fine. That's not a problem. But in fact, if you look at one of the slides you showed, when you showed all the results, like there are 3 pages of different hypotheses and their interlinkages. What are the things? And none of them is kind of visible in any manner.
Sure.
So having too many you applied factor analysis. So my guess is you should apply factor analysis on the hypothesis variables upfront before you did that, because then that would have kind of reduced that story to a more workable thing.
Right, sir.
That's answer.
The second observation I have is, I go back to your sample size, and I know you justified it in a manner, well, in the absence of anything, we might have to live with it, but I still believe that there is a problem. I'll tell you the problem, because if you look at your stratification,
Sir.
60 is itself a problem, but then there's another problem.
Hmm.
If you look at your 60 is divided in terms of the maximum of the 60,
Sure.
20 something,
Hmm.
come from the very large entities.
Yeah, right.
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 And only about 10 or 13% come from the small entities,
13.
something like that.
13.
Now, the problem is here. You are using your market data to justify why you do that by saying that only about 5 or 6 or whatever number of companies which together account for about 81% of the market.
Sure.
And then you do all the rest of the data as well, and you get about 60% of that thing.
Sir.
You have 3,000 companies.
Sir. Right. Sir.
20% of the data comes from about, good 2,900 companies, 2,800 companies. Even if I leave out the bid size and the key players and all that.
Right, sir. Right.
You have about 90%, 80% of your sample
Hmm.
covering that 20%. Yet in your sampling representation, that 20%, that 80% of the data is having only a 30% representation. Right? That's a fundamental problem that you will have if you go to take this result outside. Somebody's going to question is why you did only 60? That's one part of the story. Why was it not appropriately scaled up? Because obviously inherently the variability within 80% of those, so about 2,700, 2,800 companies that we're talking about is going to be much, much higher than the variability within the top 10 companies. And therefore, in a sense, what are we doing? We're not doing data information.
Sure.
You are going and saying, okay, 21% of the data is something to that is from the largest company.
Sir.
These are only 5 companies, 6 companies. You know the data better than I do.
Correct.
How much variability is there within those companies? And therefore, what is the point of going to each one of them? Even if I get 2 of them, I have lost significant amount of data. But leaving out a much larger bulk on the other side leaves out a lot more data. So that can actually, if your broadband alphas are not sure, that's the problem, because that's how the design has been constructed.
Sure.
The question is the design relevant? The question will come in terms of how relevant is the design? Because having chosen a certain design, I'm not ensuring that broadband alpha and the other business stories and all of that will hold. There's nothing wrong in that. That is the fundamental problem that exists. The third observation I have is, you have talked about a Likert scale and why you've gone on Likert scale. Likert scale is good, but you have a lot of data. Right? Fundamental problem of a Likert scale model is that it is not parametric. So what is the distribution that you're using? Therefore, how valid will this results be? This analysis, this data, the results are valid. Tomorrow I apply it to something else, or you can apply to the same companies 5 years later. How consistent will the results be? An answer is a non-parametric setup, I cannot argue for consistency. Fundamentally, I cannot, that's the very nature, the very definition of non-parametric setup, I can't argue for path consistency. Which is why I was trying to ask the question and said at that point that would it make sense to kind of use some kind of a parametric basis, because in the short term there will be variation, but in the longer term you get some kind of a distributional representation, and therefore some results can kind of hold much longer in nature. There are some of these, and then my last observation which I still maintain is that what is the real contribution of this work in this sense? You see, GST has been implemented now about 7 years. This July will be 7 years.
7 years.
June 30th will be 7 years.
7 years.
We all know what it is going through. We all know what the message was. We all know what, how long it's taken. And all of it. That's one. The question is that the implementation is also over. Right? Today you're not doing anything new. Today the GST, there's no new. In fact, the GST council meetings have also become from public data that we get, which is available because the GST council meeting minutes are public. The discussions have also kind of narrowed down in the early days, both implementation and the government support in terms of how much GST which goes into where, all of that was actually a challenge. All of that is kind of now stabilized. So what is so if you are arguing that this is an analysis of an event that has happened, and these are my findings of that event. To that extent, there is knowledge in there. That's a fine argument. But if we are arguing in lines of what you have talked about in terms of your last, not last, but one of the last slides, which is essentially future scope of work and all of that, I have a challenge. Because the market is very different. Right? The market is very, very different. What is the line? We would have a completely random, different tax regime coming up. See, why is the GST important? GST by itself is not important at all. Because if you go back, when you shoot that on the slide, right, that the seventh variable the World Bank sees of doing business is taxation.
Yes.
But they don't go beyond taxation. They don't kind of divide it into corporate tax and income tax and corporate income tax, and they keep it broadly at taxation. It is interesting in India, but the GST is an interesting argument in India to look at is because it was a complete change of the tax regime, or at least the indirect tax regime, for majority of the entities that existed. I mean, there are still, you know better, there are still entities which are not under the GST, like petrol for one. There are a few other things which are not under the GST, which are under the state taxation.
Petrol is the
Alcohol is one. I think alcohol is also under state. Right?
Petrol is the best example.
Petrol and alcohol also is the backstory.
Yes.
If I'm not wrong.
No alcohol, I'm not sure right now.
It has to, I mean, I don't know, right? I guess it has to be, otherwise the can't use one for price variation across states.
Because
You know,
states are dealing
the
with
cost price is the same. So essentially the price variation, the tax variation. Right? Petrol we all know. What's it?
Petrol.
Petrol, diesel we all know it's volatile in the pack. Right? So there are various reasons as to why it's not there. That's not the other pieces.
Yeah.
The question that the impact of this thing is that becomes relevant in that context, that is it likely in the next 1-2 years or 5 years, whatever time, another dramatic change like changing from excise and VAT to GST is going to happen? If I don't know, I don't think. I mean,
In fact, nobody can say it with
nobody can say. I agree that. I was about to say that. You may have some cabinet officer, but in general, the answer is none of us know whether that's going to happen.
No, nobody knows.
But I think the kind of changes that happen, I can safely state that the likelihood of such a far-reaching and complete overhaul of the system is very, very unlikely.
Yes, right.
And there's one possibility which exists, but that also is very unlikely in India. You can argue for that. Because interestingly, when GST was introduced in India, it is around the same time GST was also introduced in Malaysia. Few months here and there. The Malaysian government changed. And the next government that came in actually overturned the decision and went back to the old excise VAT system. Unfortunately, I think fortunately there's that level of political maturity in India, by and large till now, that policy decisions have not been, such kind of economic policy decisions have not been really reversed by politically different entities.
Right, sir.
So it's very unlikely that if there's a political environment change, an economic policy decision is going to be reversed as an outcome of that.
Right.
Economic policy changes and reversals happen because of a large amount of change and consumption. Even if you look at GST, GST has been in the works for 15 years before it probably came out. It was first talked about in
2010 itself.
2002, 2003 it was talked about. It took about 15, 16 years for it to come to where it and then get implemented.
Even at the time, Vijay Kalka was talking about the GST.
It was even before that. I think the first talk about GST came about when Chidambaram was briefed by the United States.
VAT exercise was there.
I see with them that this would be a precursor when they did the bond and all of that, this would kind of be a stepping stone to that. It took about 20 years from the first observation of GST to kind of get it. Therefore, the chance of a GST reversal in India is very unlikely.
No, not at all.
Very, very unlikely. Again, nobody knows what can happen, but it's extremely unlikely. Given all of that, the likelihood of a complete overhaul in the system and GST being dropped and some new, completely new ideas coming in, it's not right, is absolutely, I mean, as near possibility as zero as possible.
Foreseeable future it is zero.
So therefore, the question is that what is the utility of all this findings? If it's a pure analysis of how it is done and what has happened, it's a good idea. Then your future research should not look at that. Again, future research should, the scope is actually kind of saying, or your conclusion should actually be that this has been an analysis and a kind of an independent what should I say, validation or review of how this process has gone and what are the challenges and what kind of things have come about. But saying that approach in looking forward is not really something that's going to apply because today's data is very different from 2017 data. And even the environment in 2017 to 2024 is very, very different than when you look forward.
That's what I've already mentioned, that if you when we completed 4 years back, ITSS would have been the highest.
It's not up to highest.
Hmm.
Actually, I don't, I mean, and again, there is an argument against that. In 4 years back, 6 years back, ITSS would have been the top spec,
Yeah,
top number for a different reason,
For different reason.
for a completely different reason.
Hmm.
Because we are a half-based system which you were forcing down
Yeah.
on people,
Hmm.
right? So that's not the context. The context is that what will be the relevance of, I think there should be, I mean, as a thesis which is more generic, it's fine, but if you want to kind of, you showed your publication, if you want to do that, then you actually probably need to be very much more clearer in terms of saying that, okay, this is not really a prescription for the future, this is more of an analysis of what has happened, and we are doing a kind of look back and saying, okay, how successful were we, what would we have done better, what would have been different, and things like that. I think that's what the objective is.
But by still stand by with one argument, sir. By that business operation system will always be relevant. It will always be relevant.
You know, if you go down that, if you want to write a paper, if I was referring to the first question is what is business operation system and how does it? Business operation system is always relevant. Also, what is new in there?
Hmm.
If I'm running a business, it's like saying, if I'm running a business, if I'm not paying, what is my most important parameter? It's been there for the last 500 years, it's going to be there for the next 5,000 years.
Yeah,
It's profit.
They are always.
So you're saying business operations is the most important. It's like restating a motherhood statement that profit is the motive. How can a business run without profit? How can a business run without a business operating environment and system?
Hmm.
Government support, IT support systems are actually things which come and go depending on different points in time.
Right, sir?
But the business operating system will remain
Yeah,
uniform.
it will be relevant in all
cases.
in all regimes.
That's the kind of standard motherhood statement.
In all regimes.
What is the new thing that we are kind of getting out of that is the problem that I have. So I think that is where I would have argued that if you looked at, particularly if you were to take this out and look at it in terms of splitting it up and looking at it into papers and all of that, and I don't know how much of that is already got. In fact, the first paper that you published doesn't seem to link up, it seems to link up more to the GST, not into the pharmaceutical and all of this.
No, only that GST.
Only the broad GST. Yeah.
What GST?
So therefore, if you want to do that, then essentially I would argue that there are these things that one should kind of be careful in looking at. But that's about it. But so I think we should not make statements like ease of doing business is not available. There are enough. In fact, the World Bank publishes every year. Government of India doesn't like it and therefore we trash it. That's a different story. But there are enough internationally available ease of doing business indicators that are available. There are enough indices. Merrill Lynch publishes one. So there are a number of them.
So that's why I have submitted it, sir. I would like to your more advanced knowledge here.
Like most of them.
There
There are a bunch of them that are published. World Bank does it. The Economist, the Economist does it. Rand Corporation does it.
Rand Corporation.
Rand, R-A-N-D.
Achha,
There are OECD does it.
okay. OECD.
OECD does it. OECD has the release of-
Economic Cooperation Development Organization.
Yeah, the European, the economist, Paris, OECD does it. There are number of such things.
Okay.
Now, it's a different story that today we've come to an environment where because it is not, it's look favorable to me, so I trash it at the government. But as an academy, you can't go down that.
No, academically, it is wide
That's a
open.
different story.
It is wide open.
That's a different story. So there are enough of these in this. They may not call it directly ease of doing business. They may call it something else. But effectively, it is like ease of entry, ease of access. So those are things that kind of become relevant.
Spirit will be toward that, maybe named something otherwise.
So there are enough of them. So all these major organizations do it.
Oh.
All the major economic organizations across the world do it. So that's what I would argue at an nutshell.
In fact, I was seeking your advice, and now it is clear, and it will look in my future work, sir. Yes.
I think that you also have, there are some, I think you are saying you said something like, ma'am, your battery is very good, this is the switch off right now, this is switch on power.
Okay.
You just went out there, instead of what?
Hmm.
It's,
Connected?
just said battery loaded. Fine, okay. You can close, but you know, I think people are there on the other side, and they are in the.
Oh,
They can let it be very closer, it's okay. So no, I'm just saying, what is the thing, what is the business?
you're talking about some,
This volatility, so I think you should be a bit more careful about what do you mean by volatility in a sector.
hmm,
You said that construction and some of these are.
Ah.
And you should be a little careful, because volatility means something else in the different conditions, and in an economic market orientation, volatility means something.
hmm,
I don't know what volatility, what do you mean by volatility out here?
Hmm.
So you have to be, I can understand maturity of the sector,
hmm.
but the construction sector is also equally mature and so are other sectors. So what does volatility mean is the question. So I think I think if you were writing a paper that what I said earlier, my comments, the choice of pharmaceutical sector is not obvious choice,
Hmm.
but you kind of have reasons to why.
Hmm. Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Fine. Anything to sign or do anything?
Yes. Thank you. And congratulations, sir.
Sir,
Spend your.
You will be, so on the recommendation of Dr. Baku, this will be.
And what is? And what is?
So you're in the Ministry of Finance now?
yeah, right
So
now,
Alok is there.
huh?
Alok, now Jay is like.
Alok.
Pandey.
Alok Pandey, I don't know.
IPS, Postal Service, he was director, he's just been.
I know Ritwik Pandey, I know Ritwik Pandey.
And his name is Alok.
In which department, sir?
Financial markets, Deepam, he's now in Deepam.
Deepam, yes, Deepam. He must be sitting in CGO complex, I think.
Alok is my student, long back.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, can you give me your number, sir?
Huh?
No. Okay, this is the only starting.
Otherwise, I want to write a lot of papers in visiting finance.
So which department, which department?
Department.
Which, Yeah, अगले तो मेरा another friend unfortunately मर गए वो JS था Badnesh Mishra with JS expenditure he suddenly had a heart attack it was absolutely fine and मतलब you can't say that he was very healthy in the sense yoga करता था खाने वाने में he was very restricted he would go with us I mean like I've been traveled around the world with him जाके but very sad we IRS पूरा
Sir, I want to say something.
yeah
Thank you, action experts, sir, for your valuable suggestions, sir. We will work on it, sir, because we make a plan to work on some qualitative studies, sir. I know sample size is very important when you go for a quantitative study. So we had discussion with the Pawan ji regarding this paper and some future assignments, sir. So thank you so much, sir, for your valuable suggestion, and we will sure, sir, we will work a good number of paper regarding.
thank you
Thank you so much.
anytime there are these people
Still meeting training, sir.
हमारे medical year है तो 1 साल का है, अभी तो वो split कर दिया, अभी you come for 10 weeks, 8 हफ्ते 2 हफ्ते, बाकी I think is online, ऐसा कुछ किया इसमें। It's a government sponsor, it is a program जो शुरू किया था, तो it was a 2-year program, 1 साल के लिए, it was basically a replacement of Colombo plan. तो 1 साल के लिए सब कोई आते थे, कैंपस में रहते थे, दूसरा साल they would go back and then do dissertation on the job, come and present. First batch में Hasmukh Adia जो finance secretary, Hasmukh was the student in the first batch. Then अभी जो बहुत सारे लोग हैं उसमें, UK Shukla knows me very well. UK Shukla was there. Then ये है आपका,
हमारी सर्विस के हेड है, बिलोंग टू इंडियन कॉस्ट।
अच्छा, then ये भी है ना, अभी जो PMO में what is his name, Uma Shankar and his wife, both were our students. Then अभी JS है वही, पूर्णेंदु, PK बैनर्जी, वो थे, काफी सारे लोग थे। Alok's wife, Ritu was a student. Alok PhD कर रहे थे मेरे पास. I was on his committee, and Ritu postal service. Ritu is also postal service. Ritu but anyway, that program has काफी सारे changes हुए हैं. तो अभी government sponsor अभी भी करते हैं, but they don't send people. अभी वो program को change करके वो 2 साल 1 साल करके अभी वो कर दिया कि आप 10 हफ्ते आओगे यहाँ पे कैंपस में रहोगे, बाकी ऑनलाइन होगा कुछ but it is still useful. It is useful and it is also sponsored by the government. So it is a government program. I mean, there are उसमें बाहर के लोग भी आ सकते हैं, but government still sponsors the maximum number of candidates into that. Next year, इस साल का अभी शुरू हो जाएगा, अगले साल के लिए। MOE में आप अगर किसी को जानते हो तो उनसे बात कर लेना, but because they do the notification, because the internal government notification goes out for time. और अभी तो इजी कर दिया ना, अभी पहले एक प्रॉब्लम होता था लोगों को देने के बाद भी MOE अप्रूव कर दिया, अभी डिपार्टमेंट को छुट्टी तो देना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज पैसा तो डिपार्टमेंट देगा, बट छुट्टी नहीं देता था तो और एक मारामारी चलता था, अभी छुट्टी मिलेगा नहीं मिलेगा ये।
अब ये 2 दिन का छुट्टी के लिए मुझे इधर से 2 दिन की छुट्टी कितना हो गया, कैसे जाए, क्या करें, बड़ी मुश्किल से ये 2 दिन मतलब रिलीव मिला था। टुडे आई एम फ्लाइंग बैक टू दिल्ली, टुमारो आई हैव टू जॉइन MCT।
कहाँ चल रहा है सर MCT का?
फरीदाबाद में,
NLT।
हाँ, और उसके बाद फिर वो एक हफ्ते के लिए अंडमान गए। तो ऐसा क्या करेंगे लोग?
अभी तो ये अशोक नहीं है, अभी डायरेक्टर नहीं, वो है फरीदाबाद में, और DAP तो है ना उनका सेंट्रल एक्साइज का भी, तो वो है,
वो है नासिक,
सॉरी नासिक। NLT तो नागपुर में,
जब हम नासिक एक्साइज पहुंचे तो नासिक में
नासिक, NLT तो है नागपुर।
So I would like to get very user from you, sir. People like you are a very important asset.
Have a chat with Alok. Can you give my name? He's my, I mean,
Your visiting card is there, no idea.
हाँ यहाँ उनसे जाकर बोलो ना, वो मेरा बहुत he knows me very well, मुझसे पहले भी उससे बात हो रही थी, और बर्थडे था तो उसको मैसेज किया तो वो दुबई में थे।
हमारे को ऑफिसर पोस्टेड है,
आप श्योर है? श्योर
तो वहाँ से और जुमिला बहुत ही करते हैं वहाँ।
लोग डायरेक्टर थे और अभी रिसेंटली ये लास्ट साइकिल में नवंबर he told me कि मैं सर मैं जेएस बन गया, तो वेरी गुड।
From this January I have been posted promoted as director. Earlier I was joined. You know sir, what was the circumstances? When I joined this course, I was doing the attendance evaluation Nazi. When I submitted my thesis, I had joined director pharmaceuticals. And now I am director next year class. You know sir, I think I joined more for everybody. Exposure from the institutions like IIMs, etc. I can proudly say that some people, some type of people have also they are this and I will work on that. This type of thing. My jargons are very clear.
Nee,
So,
no problem.
Stop.
problem.
That's why I cannot say anything more than that. आगे वाला जो था सर क्या ये वही है उसी बात पर बात करना है डिग्री भी मतलब इट इज नॉट कॉम्प्लेक्स डिग्री में फिर आपको चले आपको पिछले वाला सब करते हैं आगे क्या होगा नहीं है और पॉलिटिकल इन्वॉल्वमेंट अगर चेंज हो जाएगा इससे मेडिकल हां पॉलिटिकल मेडिकल का पढ़ाई well, in practice, because going from practice, there's something how to make it. Yeah. Sir, what? Put the condition must be popular. I went to Martin, but because I find it very interesting. It is not a thing that they, even each and every individual, whatever subject you do, you do. That is the thing. But it's not complex. No. I will go back and after the activity, I would like to have some good papers. Check quite relevant. This is the thing you can over. No. With that, this will be present, I need to write on me all these things. Yes. Go for it. Good paper, quite better. What are the dedicated? That will be relevant for. That is the thing. In fact, sir, if I wouldn't have it, hospital, there were 6 companies wouldn't have it.